Welcome to issue 277 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts, Shpee, and joining me tonight are Steve.
Hey, Shpee, how's it going? How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
And Daniel.
Oh, hi, Spee. Great to have you in the lair, don't you know? Just gee willikers, I am super excited to get to sit down and talk to you, buddy. Just tickled as can
So
be.
great to be here.
She's like, what? Is that Daniel? Is that really Daniel?
What, Spee? You're not going to say hi to me?
Hi, Josh.
There you go.
I'm here too. It's not just Steve and Daniel.
I
I get it.
Yeah. So what is going on, right? So actually, Daniel is not here. Unfortunately, that was just a clever ruse by Josh to make you think he was Daniel. Oh, in case you couldn't tell.
I mean, you've broken the illusion, Steve. I think no one out there knew what was happening until
Nobody
you
knew.
said that.
Oh,
You're like a magician that reveals his trick on the stage. That's gross.
No Mysterio.
I'm that magician who tells you how other magicians are doing their tricks. I'm the villain magician. Yeah, Shabi's here. We were down a host, and I said, "Hey, who can join?" And you said, "I can." It's not too late for me, and here you are. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, normally there's a question I would ask Daniel, so I guess I should still ask Daniel. We'll give it a try. Okay. Well, actually, Shabi, would you like to ask Daniel this question?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay, go ahead.
Daniel, what's on your mind tonight?
Oh, well, I didn't think you were ever going to ask. But what's on my mind? Well, it's a lot. Sometimes I like to sit and ponder the different questions of the universe, but tonight the only thing that's on the old noggin here, Shpee, is I'm wanting to know more about you, buddy. I want to know more about you. And I want to know more about you and your history with champions. I want to know all that stuff. Steve, why don't you ask him some questions? Woo! I want to just get all the amalgamation that is Spee and put it into a big hot dish that I can listen to, don't you know? Just consume it. Nom, 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 nom. Just gobble up old Speed here.
You got it, Daniel.
Daniel, that was weird, man. I don't know what you say.
Hey, language.
He's weird, man. He's in a mood.
He's in a mood, yeah. The last 2 episodes of the show, he's been in a mood, yeah.
That's crazy. Get out of here, Daniel. Go on, shoot.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Shoot.
Shmi, we're gonna ask a couple questions about you. Let's start with an easy one, maybe. Are you a Marvel fan before getting into Marvel Champions? And if so, like comics, movies, what do you got?
Oh, yes. When I was a kid, I watched there was like the original Spider-Man cartoon with the old theme song. There was a couple of really weird live action movies that I vaguely recall that were really bad, and comic books. I collected comic books starting fairly early. I do have somewhere like the whole original Secret Wars series. I have the first episode with Spider-Man in the black costume on the cover and all that. So yeah, I'm a fan way back.
Oh, cool. All right. That's good. That's good to know. I don't want to call you out, but I will say you're in our age demographic, I feel like. And you sort
Over
of
50.
Yeah. I mean, you sort of outed yourself there anyways with talking about the original Spider-Man cartoon and stuff, but yeah. Yeah, okay.
I'm a young buck. I don't know what you old farts are talking about here.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a virulent young buck. I have so much of my life ahead of me if I make some very key decisions and changes in the way I live my life.
You behave tonight.
It's not too late for you.
Yeah. Okay, so good. Comic fan from way back. How about Marvel Champions? When did you get into the game? What's your collection look like?
It was after the pandemic, and I had switched careers to a tech job where I was able to work from home. And my wife told me at some point, get out, because I was home literally all the time. So I found a game group, and one of the people there introduced me to Marvel Champions. And I was like, okay, this is fun. And I bought the core set, and I bought Quicksilver and Venom like right away. It was summer of 2021. And gradually I've built up. I have everything now.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. A smart move by the wife to kick you out and make you invest all your money into this game.
That part might have backfired.
Might have backfired on her just a little. Yeah.
That's very similar to how my my intro into it went, Speak. Very, very similar.
All right. We love this. This is a question we got to know. Your favorite villain in the game and / the comics?
There is a correct answer.
There is, huh?
Tonight there is, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the game, that's hard. I think I'd have to go with my favorite to play. It would be Green Goblin, mutagen formula. It was the early encounter set that I got to, and it's just so fun to play against. So many minions, so much goofiness going on. In the comics, my favorite villain is Doctor Doom, though.
Was that the right answer, Josh, or no?
No, the correct answer is Juggernaut.
Oh, for both?
Just the best villain.
Okay. Doom has a little more dynamic depth to him than maybe Juggernaut does. Right? Yeah.
A couple more dimensions there.
Yeah.
Big guy, big helmet, smash stuff. What more do you need? Or any fancy magic fingers? Metal face? Nah.
Okay, Doom's great. Mutagen formula, everybody likes that.
Those are good answers.
Yeah. Last question we want to know is, in the game, I suppose in the comics, who is your favorite villain to just watch get beat up by the villains?
Favorite hero to get beat up.
Oh, yes.
Get beat up.
I think you phrased it right.
Let me start over. No, let me start over. Oh, did I? Yeah. They call them a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough choice, but I tell you, Tony Stark, he needs to be punched.
Daniel would approve, right, Daniel? Daniel would approve of that.
Oh, what a great answer there, Speed. Man after my own heart, don't you know? Oh, there's Daniel again. Oh, there he goes. Get out of here, you crazy son of a gun. Look at him run. That's weird, right?
It is.
Did you know he limped like that? What's wrong with him?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. It's one of those.
It's one of those things. Iron Man's a good one. Yes, we love to see Iron Man get pummeled and just take it down a peg. Great. I think that's it. Josh, do you have any other questions for Shabi or any reminiscing you want to do with Shabi? Because you did see him recently.
We did. Shabi and I got to hang out at Con of Champions, man. We got to play a very late night game. Me, Shabi, and Lack of Subtlety. I was a little drunk. Just a little bit, but it was fun. We had a good time. We actually we played against Green Goblin, but
you came out when we finished a game with Steve,
which
was after the last game he said he wanted to play. And then you came out at Lack of Subtlety, and I were like, oh, okay, sure.
So Josh played after that game I played with you.
Yes,
the last night there. It was late.
It was directly the next game.
Okay.
Yeah, I had left.
He took my seat. Okay.
Yeah, I had just finished playing 2 games with Nanners. Nanners in the Discord, Anna, and people's names I forget, and I'm so sorry to the 2 guys. I cannot remember their names to save my life. But we played against Magog, and we played my first ever game against Baron Zemo. They were kind of. I told him I'd never played against Zemo, and I brought him, so we played. We had a great time. I loved those games, but I was ready to keep playing, and I had some beers left. I was like, well, I want to finish my beers, and I want to play some Marvel Champions. And I saw Spee and Lack of Subtlety stand over there, and I was walking. I was like, you guys want to play a game? And they were like, well, we were gonna go to bed, but. And then Lack of Subtlety goes, with Josh, yeah, I want to play a game with you. And I was like, oh, my heart, you beautiful people.
That's how I got roped into it.
Yeah.
And you are one of the voices I recognized the first day of the con when we were in line to file into the big room. you and Mike were right behind me.
Yeah, you turned around. I'm like, are you Josh? And I was like, what? I'm so sorry. Whatever I did to your wife, I didn't know she was married.
Oh my God. Oh boy. Oh boy.
In my head, I was like, all right, I'm going to tell him I didn't know she was married. Didn't know any of that. But no, it turned out you knew me from the podcast. So that was awesome. It was really great to get to hang out and play. And thank you guys for playing that late night game. And we played against Risky Business, right?
Was that what it was? I don't even remember. I remember who we played, the heroes, but I don't remember the villain.
Yeah, I did Cyclops Aggression. You did Wasp something.
Justice.
Write this down, or are you just remembering? I can't remember.
Oh, you did Wasp, Justice, and Lack of Subtlety played
Bishop? It was Bishop,
yeah,
I think.
It was Bishop, yeah.
I gave you Float and was confusing the villain.
Yeah. Oh, it was
an
optic blast.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Really dug it.
Well, I hope you guys are going to come back next year. I hope I can go back next year. So get some more games.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got to know Shpee. Do you have a name other than that we can call you? Is that, do we have a real name
my
that
real
you
name,
care to share?
I don't mind sharing. It's Ashby, Ashby.
Okay. All right. I get it. Makes some sense. Somebody just shortened it on you from the back.
Not the way that normally happens.
Right. Cool. Okay. That should be. Yeah, it's nice that you're here. Get some further info from you because we did play a bunch of those games. But I have to, talk about this Marvel Champions game, and we're in Josh's final show of his minion tryout, and
they're finally kicking
chair
out,
with me.
You can have the chair. It's all yours. Please take it. I will pay you.
I'm going to take it and give it a Viking funeral because, dear God, this thing needs to be put out of its misery.
Perfect.
I sat in it and heard it audibly moan.
It made that
in pleasure.
No, it was more like an ogling that you would hear from an alpaca's lips.
Orgling.
Oh, okay.
Orgling. What did I call it? Ogling.
No, that's
orgling.
Different.
That's different.
That's what I was worried Spee was going to accuse me of.
Oh, right. All right, so what are we doing? What are we going to do? We are going to do part 2 of our Apocalypse villain scenario, the third scenario from the box, not the Ensabanur, not the 5th scenario. We're on the 3rd scenario, but part 2 of that. So we're going to talk all about Apocalypse. I'm going to give a little bit of lore tonight. Josh gave a great set of lore last week. And then we're going to look at all the encounter cards that come with Apocalypse. So you guys ready for this? Ready?
Gave the finest lore Wikipedia could offer.
Yes. No, not quite. Last week? Last week.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing it.
Okay. All right. So last week, Josh talked all about Apocalypse's power, his 616. We talked a little bit about the age of Apocalypse and how that went. What I was going to do is give us a little bit about Apocalypse outside the comics, because we typically only talk comics. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you might have first encountered Apocalypse if you're not a big comic reader like Shpee here is. So let's talk about Apocalypse, the overly intense life coach of mutant kind. Okay. So long before kale smoothies and motivational posters, there was Ensabanur, better known as Apocalypse, the ancient mutant who basically invented tough love. So he first appears, outside the comics, in the X-Men animated series with a voice so deep it could cause minor earthquakes. He wasn't trying to take over the world like the X-Men kept saying he was doing. He was just really, really passionate about self-improvement, right? His motto, only the strong survive. And how, he kept talking about how mutants must rise. They need to rise. And the X-Men, though, they're like, sir, this is a Wendy's. So, all right. The whole thing, to be fair, sounds like when you say it in all caps with like lightning in the background. But we did see Apocalypse in that animated series. And then he returns in X-Men 97. Did you guys watch that?
Yes. It was very good.
The very last little bit, spoiler, the very last little bit of the last episode, we see Ensabanur and interacting with the X-Men. So if we ever get X-Men 98, we might get Apocalypse again. So that could be cool.
The Tony Robbins of the X-Men universe.
Yes.
That's a deep
Just
cut.
improve.
You think anybody like below age 35 knows who Tony Robbins is?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Absolutely not.
But we know. So then again, we see Apocalypse in the movie X-Men Apocalypse from 2016. Okay, and this is Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, right? He's Poe Dameron in Star Wars. He's like works his way through all the fantasy IPs. He's been in a bunch of stuff. So
Long lost cousin of the Dameron line.
yeah. All right, so in this movie, Apocalypse wakes up from his several thousand-year nap, which is totally relatable at my age and the time of night we were recording it. And he basically finds that humanity's gone completely off the rails, right? He's been asleep for thousands of years, and the first thing he encounters is Twitter, nukes, modern politicians, fast food restaurants, a Starbucks inside a Starbucks, right? All these sorts of things. So the it's a total mess.
The KFC double down, just misery and pain everywhere.
The KFC / Taco Bell, right? Like, yeah, okay.
Nightmare.
So what's he do? Right? The first thing he tries to do is he tries to Marie Kondo the planet. Now, is that a reference that old guys get? Marie Kondo?
That's the Netflix chick that tells you to throw away everything in your house, right?
How to reorganize stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's her.
Does this bring joy?
Right. So that's what he's doing, right? Does this bring joy? Out with the old and in with the four horsemen and a fresh global reset.
Could you imagine if that's what he said before he just offed a dude? Does this bring joy? No.
This doesn't bring me joy. Let's get rid of Magneto. Let's get rid of Xavier. Cyclops, nope, you're out. Okay. So all he's trying to do in this movie is help you strength by, casually dismantling civilization as we know it. He's a classic overachiever in the movie. Yes, okay, he turns buildings into sand, and he speaks like he swallowed a Shakespearean anthology, and occasionally he melts people with his mind, but couldn't we all just do with a few less Kardashians, right? I mean, let's be honest. So deep down, he's just a misunderstood ancient dude who thinks he's running a TED Talk on evolution. Is he a villain in the movie, or just history's most intense motivational speaker with a flair for capes and pyramid schemes? So the one thing that we can definitely say is he wasn't evil. Okay, he wasn't evil. He's just really, really committed to your personal growth, whether you like it or not. So,
just tough love, man.
Yeah, it's tough love, right? Yeah. So through these methods, that kind of puts him at odds with the X-Men. And Apocalypse's goal was always to ensure that those with power would use it to uplift others, even if the world wasn't ready to understand his vision. And scene. There we go. That's him in the movies. That's him in the cartoon.
Yeah, I am not the biggest fan of the X-Men Apocalypse movie, but
not a lot of people are.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not because of Oscar Isaac's portrayal of Apocalypse. I thought he did pretty darn good, but some of the other decisions weren't the best.
It's rarely the actors. It's usually the writing or the story.
Yeah.
And not even the plot, because like the plot is like what happens, but the story is why, and like some of the story motivations and things like that just in that are a little lacking. Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, I don't remember that one very well.
Well, you probably watched it once, and that was it. So
yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, and it's 10 years old now, so we're pretty close. Okay, that's him outside of comics. So I guess. I guess we can talk about some of the cards now, huh?
Sounds good.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. So we mentioned this last time. Age of Apocalypse box. Third scenario requires the pre-lattes or the before coffees, and it suggests Dark Riders and Infinites. 15 total cards. Tonight we're going to look at 9 or 6 by title from the encounter set. And I think we should have Spee start us off and read Cyberpathy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good one too. It's an attachment, superpower traded. You attach it to Apocalypse, and it has the forced response. After Apocalypse schemes, place one threat on each side scheme. That's a great one. It gives him +1 scheme with the little star for the force response, and the boost. No stars on it, unfortunately, but the boost is you just attach it to Apocalypse, so it's coming out either way. And he's
Yeah,
going to
nice.
start throwing around some threat. It's a good card.
Yeah, and we'll notice there's no way to remove it. The only way we're going to take it off is a reminder from last week is you have to actually defeat Apocalypse in order to clear all his attachments and then reset his health. So
Yeah, like Hello or Magog.
yeah, Josh, he has that belt buckle you always were talking
It
about.
does, and that cod piece that is vented. I mean, that's good. That helps prevent chafing.
Right.
It lets the parts kind of air out. It really
Gotta
help you
breathe.
from.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I bet it like filters sand too, because he's out in Egypt a lot, and he's out all the places.
Yeah, I hate
I think
sand.
that's
It's
solid.
coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
You definitely don't want it getting there.
No. Josh, read us the next attachment.
All right, the next attachment is biomorphing. Has superpower traded attached to Apocalypse. Apocalypse attacks gain overkill. Gives him +1 attack. And has just a boost effect. Attach this card to Apocalypse. And there he's got some kind of like hammer fist slammy thing.
Yeah.
On there. He's
It
biomorphed
It's
his
part of
hand
his
into some kind of
shape-shifting.
jackhammer thing.
does he bio like the thing his hand is does not resonate with the word bio to me. Does he have the ability to morph into technology?
Yeah. He's infused with technology and he can change his shape. So he'll do things like that.
Okay.
Does he have kind of like the what is it? The technovirus almost?
No,
Is that what it is? Like,
but I think he was supposedly like altered by the Kree, I want to say. That I may not be remembering that correctly. But they granted him a bunch of technology in the past.
he got a lot of stuff from the Celestials.
Maybe that's what it was.
Interesting. Because I know like some characters have like they'll call it like technomorphing and they can morph tech. Like Grey Crow could do something similar. And some other characters like that. And then biomorphing I always assume means like, biologically, like grow wings or have spikes or something like that. But he can kind of do a little bit of all. So it's got to be a combo of the two. So that's cool. Shows up as a boost. It gets put on it, and it still gives him a +1 because of the timing of it. So that's cool. And then overkill. His villain cards either have a 2 attack or a 3 attack. So if this pushes it up to a 4 with overkill, that's pretty good for him. So
Which he gets in that stage 4, he has an innate overkill already, even without the biomorphing attachment, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, there's another attachment that he can have called Molecular Control. It is an attachment superpower attached to Apocalypse. Apocalypse gains Retaliate 1 and Stalwart. It has a special boost. Attach this card to Apocalypse with the flavor text, Apocalypse's power to control every molecule in his body makes him an unpredictable foe. Okay, well, there it goes.
I like the art on that. It looks like he was able to go on a all-inclusive shopping spree at Hot Topic.
Yes, he's got spiked everything.
Yeah. A couple of spikes there.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy metal.
Very retaliate. I mean, yeah. Stalwart, again, I think his level 4 also gains Stalwart. So he's not necessarily gaining too much. He's getting that retaliate still, but yeah. And all the other levels getting Stalwart's nice.
Retaliate's one of the most annoying things to see on a villain for a hero. So I do like that.
Yep. All right. There's another one, Shbee. There's another one.
This is another attachment called the Fittest. It looks like there are 2 of those. It gives a +1 to scheme and a +1 to attack. It's a condition. Attach to the minion with the highest printed hit points and give it a tough status card. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. Attached enemy gets +5 hit points. And flavor text is Apocalypse promotes only the strongest and most ruthless mutants to the rank of pre-latte.
Yeah, that is so annoying when it comes out and attaches to one of the prelates. Like they already have so much health. Why do they need more? And a
so
tough.
Good.
Like, Lord have mercy.
And boost their stats.
Yeah. But if they're gone,
it's so devious.
If they're not in play, it could end up one of these Dark Riders with the teamwork, so they stick around longer. It could be on an Infinite who has guard because you haven't been able to the Infinite side scheme. It's pretty fun on a non-prelate minion, I think. So, or it could just end up surging.
Yeah, those boosts on the +5.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it would be nice if it discarded until you got a minion and then attached to it.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
yeah. Yeah.
I just read burn yourself with a lit cigarette.
No, it would
Lord.
it would actually be a lot more fun that way because it would never go on a prelate minion, right? Discard from the top of the deck until you get a minion and attach it to that minion. So it would only be a Dark Rider or an Infinite or something like that. It would never end up on prelate. So you would not have a 25 hit point minion sitting out there. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. 2 boost icons. So there we go, because we haven't really seen any boost icons adding to his health yet in this set.
All right, he's got a treachery in there though.
Ooh, okay.
Make those beefed up prelates do some work. So this is Wolf Among Sheep, and there are 3 copies of this. It is a treachery. When revealed, the prelate minion activates against you. Otherwise, Apocalypse activates against you. As a boost effect, give the prelate minion a tough status card. Otherwise, give Apocalypse a tough status card.
Okay.
And
Here's
in the art there, he's strangling Magneto.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is your activate card that, most sets come with. It just activates. So attack or scheme. And at least it's going to be the prelate before Apocalypse. It might be Apocalypse, might not be. Yeah.
But it's not going to whiff either way.
And if you've done the thing that we spoke about in the last episode of kind of using that first side scheme as a buffer, taking out the prelate and leaving that side scheme out there to kind of set up, to kind of game the system a little bit, this is going to give Apocalypse extra activations against you. And he's getting boost cards. He may have a couple of attachments on him at this point, and it can be brutal, man. And there's 3 copies of it, so you're gonna see it at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The boost effect is whatever. Get a tough, keeps that prelate around. I think that tough probably on the prelate's better than on him, but just because you need to chew your way through them. Okay, there's 1 card left, and it is there. Well, okay, there's 2 of them. But it's only 1 by title, called the Apocalypse Solution. And it is a side scheme. Apocalypse would rather burn his kingdom to the ground than surrender his rule. 3 threat, just static 3 threat, 3 boost icons, a crisis, and the when defeated, discard the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is the numeral in Apocalypse's printed hit point value. And his hit points are 8, 9, 10, and 11. So you're discarding a whole lot of cards from the top of the deck. Why would we care about that, Josh? Why would that matter whatsoever?
It's going to get more acceleration icons on that main scheme.
Oh,
and when that main scheme pops, Apocalypse evolves to that next stage. And so it's just it's kind of built to synergize with itself and just make things that much more worse for you every time that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. And a crisis, so you can't get rid of the threat that's already on there. So you have to do this if you want to clear the threat that's on there to prevent him from advancing. And when you do it, accelerate. Yeah, it's great. So it's tough. And it's only 3 threats, it's not like 3 per player. So, they're giving you a chance to really do it, Yeah.
It's tempting. It's tempting you. It's just 3.
It's just 3. Yeah. You got another good shot, at least the artwork, you get to see some infinites, which we don't see too much of them in the art, but I like this. You can see them. Yeah. And is that you, Josh, right there in the front?
Sure, maybe. Which one?
The guy with the hat.
I've been known to flee in my day.
Okay,
I've fled a few apocalyptic situations in my day.
Okay. I figured as much. So
yeah. I didn't know somebody was taking candid photos of us while we were,
running. Yeah.
Running from the armies of the infinites.
Yeah, I thought that was me that game right before you joined. I'm like, I'm done. I'm taking off out of here. Kind of heroes. We could get some sleep. Okay, so there's our set. Not a lot of cards, right?
Only 15.
Yeah. and most of them are setup cards and his like main scheme, side scheme, stuff like that.
Yeah.
5 attachments, but 3 for him, 2 for minions, 3 cards that activate, and then a couple side schemes. All right, let's talk Apocalypse as a whole. I know, Shpee, you weren't here last week when we recorded and we talked all about how this scenario functions, but so we'll let you go later on.
Okay.
We discussed this a little bit last week. I think it's much harder in solo than it is in multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
I do like the progression, the kind of hella storyline where you're trying to make him not worthy anymore, where you're trying to outpace his evolution. It can feel like there's just a lot going on, which I mean, it's an apocalypse, so that makes sense. And he's pretty potent. I haven't really played it, and maybe you guys have. I haven't really played it where I swapped out the modular sets. Like I have used Dark Riders and Infinites, which are the 2 it suggests. I pretty much use them every time. Have you guys swapped out, tried other modular sets at all?
I played it once with a couple of the Mojo encounter set or Mojo modulars. I think we had horror and I want to say Western. We did horror and Western in
Nice.
it, and it beat the absolute crap out of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it was just not great.
You're like, oh, I have this 20 health prelate out. Oh, and I have the Kraken out. Oh, and I have the land shark out, or the card shark. Oh,
Card shark.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It was not fun. I think that exact scenario happened to us where it was the Kraken was coming out and dealing damage to everything, which was nice because it was pinging toughs off, but it was also, beefed up and super big and throwing, big damage at everybody while we were trying to deal with a prelate and the whatchamacallits, the environments from Mojo from those modular sets.
Yeah, the Wild West and stuff like that. Yeah.
Giving everything quick strike, and it was not great. Not a great decision on our part. I mean, it was a great decision for the villains.
Yeah.
It was good to see them get a win.
Shree, how about you? Have you what do you think of Apocalypse out of the box?
I like him. I haven't done any different mod sets. I've only recently started to dabble with that, really kind of going into the con. But yeah, I do like the scenario a lot. Hela was one of my early favorites, and I really like Magneto, that style of working your way through the progression of side schemes and managing everything that's going on while you're trying to do that. And you can't win till you get through them. And then these prelates jumping in the way. It's a nice challenge. I've only ever played this in solo, but I always have a good time with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got some sticking power to it, man. I think there's a couple points if we're talking just if we're taking our villain hats off for a second, just talking about just the functionality of the encounter itself. It could do with maybe a little bit of tweaking to some of the health of the prelates. I think in like we talked about in a 4-player game, it goes a little long. Especially if you swap those modulars out for anything that has some big beefy or like some more beefy minions in it.
I think that might speak to playing different decks. Maybe in a 4-player game, you need a couple people with aggression, right? So they can just be dealing damage.
Yeah.
And then, a couple control players in there to try to deal with side schemes in the main scheme and stuff like that. But I think this scenario lends itself a little bit more towards deck building, maybe than some other ones do. A lot of times you can build a deck and just say, let's see how it works against this scenario, and that's fine. But this one, you may want to be like, okay, we need somebody just to do big damage every turn, right? We need somebody who's going to hit for 7 or 8 every single turn, no matter what, so that it doesn't take 7 hours to get through or whatever it might be.
It's got enough. Yeah. It's got enough precise moving parts to it that are required to be included by the scenario itself, where it lends itself to that. Where there's so much you have to take into account when you're dealing with it, because like we said, you have to worry about you have to worry about the prelates coming out. You have to worry about the if you're playing just it by its if you're playing it as suggestive. You're playing with the infinites, you have to worry about that infinite side scheme.
Mhm.
You're worrying about taking the threat off that, taking the threat off the main scheme, which you can get the threat off the main. You can get threat off the main scheme by killing Apocalypse. So best defense is good offense at that point. But if Apocalypse is throwing out a bunch of toughs and you're trying to deal with the prelates and you're trying to spread that damage around, it has so much that you have to account for rather than just saying, hey, I have this deck that's kind of good at, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like you really need your decks to be specialized.
Yeah.
And you were here when we did Dark Riders, and we gave them the B team, as a modular set and whatever. But when they show up in this and they have teamwork, but you have a prelate with that much health, or you're trying to deal with everything else, their teamworks might actually trigger. They might actually get to interact a little bit more, and they're doing things like putting threat on everything and confusing or stunning you, or right. So that modular set, I think, gets a little bit better when played in this because you have to actually worry about them because the rest of this is so oppressive, I think. So
we talked about
gotta have the damage. Oh no, that's fine. You gotta have the damage,
you gotta have the damage,
and you gotta have a lot of thwarting because as you get through the side schemes, you get more and more accelerations. So it just forces you to accelerate as well.
Well, that's the point I was going to make about the damage is so we talked about how oppressive this can be in single player and that and last week we talked about 2 to 3 players kind of the sweet spot, but even at that 2 player spot, those prelates are going up to 10 health apiece, and that kind of takes them out of that range of single event wipe. You know what I mean? Like it takes more than just a single event to take a prelate out at that point. You're devoting more and more resources to removing these things, and so that again, those decks, when you're getting into multiplayer, you really need people to be considering what is my deck going to do, and is my deck going to be able to circumvent what this scenario is throwing at us at the table? Because I may be playing aggression, but if I'm doing small ping damage with my aggression, some aggression decks they'll just throw out a lot of damage to a lot of things, or small sets of damage to a lot of things. That's still letting stuff stay out. Right. You need big heavy clears because you want to target things individually to kind of remove those singular threats at a time. You either want to be able to take Apocalypse out in one blast to be able to remove that chunk of threat from the main scheme, or take a prelate out in one blast so you're not devoting more and more and more resources to removing those threats from the table.
Yeah. So you can tweak this scenario by putting in a modular set with fewer minions, right? Remove the infinites. Then you don't have that infinite side scheme that you have to worry about. You could put in Under Attack has some attachments that go on him, but they can be removed with a hero action. Something like that. Maybe there's a mojo set's mostly obligations. So if you're worried about too many minions, you could try to put something like that in. I mean, it has its own foibles. Or if you find it not hard enough, flight, super strength, telepathy, right?
It's given the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, there you go. Infinity Gauntlet, again, expert and standard too.
Burn yourself with a lit cigarette. Give him the Infinity Gauntlet. Just make a night of it.
Prove that you are a true hero.
Yeah.
So, oh,
I want someone to give him the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
a braver man than I.
Someone braver than you.
Let's do it.
Next con. We'll do it.
We'll bring
it. Infinity Gauntlet, flight, telepathy, super strength, all of them. The whole works.
we can set it up and then put it back in the box.
1 or 2 rounds, it'll be over. It's fine.
Lay it out. Yep. We don't even need to shuffle our
so fast.
Yeah, we've done quick.
Just lay it out, look at it, be like, "Yep, he wins," and then put it back up.
Yeah, if you're counting the number of games, boom, it's
Yep, that counts as a game.
Counts. Yeah. Okay. Cool. As a third villain in the box, after playing the Unis is fine. He's not super difficult, right? For Horseman can be challenging, but it's not I it's a good scenario. And then this one takes it up a step, I think. Um, and as an apocalypse scenario, I think it feels properly epic for being apocalypse, right? So
Yes.
he should not be a pushover. He should not be easy. And the theme is fun. Watching him evolve while you're trying to race him to prevent him from evolving as quick as he can, right? So we typically give these things a grade. And I would ask Daniel, and he would say A+ or something like that.
It's an A+ from me.
There you go.
Hey,
Thank
there
you.
he goes, running back through
Thanks,
again.
Daniel.
Get out of here, you silly bastard.
Josh, what would you grade this scenario as a whole, as suggested?
I'm gonna give it a B+, just because I think it stays too long. I think on theme is a solid A+. I think the cards and the synergy in the encounter set because I mean you know what I'm talking about. Like some encounter sets, some villains you play, like their cards don't really synergize. Like each card is kind of its own threat. You know what I mean? They're not doing a lot of like, I don't know, comboing with each other. I think this synergizes really well. I think as far as that, like that structure is built really good. And I think what the encounter is trying to do comes through really well. I just think it's a little long for just hey, let's get in and try. This is not something like if I was trying to just play a quick game, I wouldn't suggest, oh, let's do Apocalypse.
Right. Yeah.
So I got to go B+ for that. But just theming and everything, I think it knocks it out of the park. I think it's really, really good. It's fun. I mean, it's a fun scenario to play, but it's something you're going to dedicate and a good portion of the evening to.
Right. Shpee, what do you think?
Yeah, it's some work. I will give it an Apocalypse belt buckle.
Whoa, that means it's an A, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a big ol' A.
See that big white A right there? Yeah, it's a fun one. I don't mind the length playing solo most of the time. I might have a different take if I played this in multiplayer, but again, I like the way this works, the way the pieces work together, and the progression in it. And it's nice to have hard ones like that. I mean, this is like similar to Thanos, right? The third one in his box. You run into this brick wall, and he smacks you.
Right. That's also a Caleb box. So yeah, interesting.
And I'll say I don't think it's like the hardest scenario out there. I don't want my words to get anybody confused what I'm saying. I'm not saying like it's like super difficult. I honestly would say it's easier than Thanos. It's just a lot to deal with at one time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I like that. I like having a lot of the moving parts, a lot of things to worry about.
All right. Is there more to say about this scenario? I have one last thing to say.
What?
Ooh.
If you guys go and look at the artwork on The Fittest, top left corner, old guy with hat, then go down to Apocalypse Situation. It's the same guy running away.
Oh, man.
Well, it is, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. A+ now. A+.
Same artist, same guy.
Continuity.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
if you go even further back, Steve.
Okay.
If you go even further back to last week, to the first side scheme that you'll be seeing when you set this up, Heart of the Empire, the two people warming themselves around an on-fire garbage can, the gentleman on the left appears, I mean, at least hat-wise, seems to be the same guy. He doesn't have the beard yet, but, he's a little more wizened in the other art.
Same artist. It could be him. I think so.
So we're seeing the entire story of this gentleman play out through the card art, where he's went from huddled around an on-fire garbage can to watching the prelates, Mr. Sinister and his prelate form marching with the Infinites, to then fleeing Apocalypse's final solution here from the Infinites. We're seeing a whole story. It tells a story. That's great. Who's the artist on that?
Sebastian Guidabono. Yeah.
Guidabono. Yep. He did a lot of the art for this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked it out of the park. Great job, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's really good.
What's this guy's name? I want our listeners later on. They're going to tell us what is this guy's name and his backstory. I want to know. I take it back. This guy's way cooler than you.
What a hateful thing to say as we near the end of my
Wow.
As we
final
near the
episode.
end of your time.
Wow.
As we near the end of your time.
This guy's great, Josh. You're a piece of trash. You're garbage, and you'll never amount to anything.
You're what's in that
Thank you.
garbage can he's burning.
Good Lord, Steven.
It is late. It is after midnight. I need to go to bed. So, Josh, why don't you tell the people where they can find you if they disagree with me? Yeah.
Well, if you think that I'm not a piece of trash, or if you think I am a piece of trash and you want to hear me be trashier, you want to continue with my trash antics and the trash people that I cavort with, you can find me on my podcast, The Hills Have Nerds. We're a nerd culture and history podcast. We talk about everything from tabletop RPGs to the Pokemon and video games and retro gaming and the history of JRPGs and all that great stuff that we love as nerds and the creativity and ingenuity that brought it to life. You can find us anywhere you get podcasts at. We have a Facebook. You can come on our Facebook. We have a Discord. You can come hang out and talk nerd with us. Just search The Hills Have Nerds and you'll find us. YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff.
Josh, you promised me that I could come on a upcoming show.
You will be on an upcoming show.
Yes.
We are currently planning that. We are in the process of a few months out of planning our shows. Had a few little family hiccups going on that's precluded some of that, but
I'm ready to go when you say it's time.
You will be on. So check out The Hills Have Nerds. You'll hear Steve and all kinds of people on it. All kinds of guests from around Marvel Champions community and in our little hole in Appalachia going
Down
on
in your holler.
Nerdy. In our hollers. Yep.
Shbee, you're out there on the Discords.
Yeah.
You're, yeah.
Just as Shbee, SHBEE.
Yep. And regular on our Tuesday night Twitch as well. So I appreciate when you come on to heckle us from the chat. So
It's a fun time. It's a nice ritual now for my Tuesday evenings.
yeah, you're keeping us honest out there too on the gameplay. So that's good because we haven't seen Romeo in a while.
Maybe I'm the same person.
Ooh, no, you're not.
Have you ever seen us
at the same? I have Get Kind of Heroes. You were like right next to me at one point at breakfast time. You were like, "There's Romeo, there's Shbee." So yeah.
Yeah, but did you look at them both at the same time, or did you have to turn your head?
Yeah, I can make my eyes go sideways. So
oh, that's what that is. I thought that was like a birth defect or something.
It's a defect, but yeah, we're not gonna blame my mom for it. So you want to reach out to us? You want to tell us who's this minion on the Apocalypse Solution? What's his name? What's his backstory? I want to know. And maybe you should design an ally card for him or a minion card. I think this guy deserves some airtime. You can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Winkster, and Shbee. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Apocalypse, take us out.
Challenge me and be reminded why Apocalypse reigns supreme.
Josh, thanks for being on. Thank you for showing up for however many shows this has been. It has been a delight. It's been an editing nightmare, but I've enjoyed it
so much.
So